Hello lovely people, your majesties, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for your love and support. Thank you so much for always coming. Right, today we're going to talk about something in history about our own. And this is almost the same thing that keep happening, right? The video that YouTube decide to deal with me because of is this story is similar to that story, because it's almost exactly what happened to that soldier that still happened to this soldier. Now, what is the aim of this message? That a lot of times there are histories of us that we don't even know about. So when some things happen, we think, oh, it's new. No, but it has been happening, it has been reoccurring. Now, why is it that it has happened and it's still happening? Is because there is no measure taken and there is no awareness created. So we know that this has happened and it's still happening. So we can make reference to it whenever it happens. We have the right to protect our own. It is our right to protect our people, however it is seen. Now, this story is touching.
I absolutely promise every time I post a video about Black history, I get hate comments, but I do not care and I will not be silenced. Are y'all ready for another Black history story? If you're having a rough day or feeling depressed, I do want to give you a fair warning. This story will really make you feel angry or depressed or both. I definitely cried when I learned about it, but it's one of those things that just has to be told. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to this handsome man. His name was Isaac Woodard. Sergeant Woodard. Sergeant Woodard was in the United States military, which was segregated at the time. However, that did not bother him. He fought for his country, a country that kind of looked at him as a second-class citizen, and he fought bravely. Sergeant Woodard fought in the Pacific campaign during World War II. There were two theaters, or two places, where we were fighting. Europe, where we were fighting the Nazis, and the Pacific, when we were fighting the Japanese. Both were hardcore, but I'm telling you, those Japanese, they did not play any games. So he was able to go there, fight his fight, and come back with an honorable discharge. He definitely did his duty. Now, his base was in Georgia, and he needed to go back to the Carolinas, right? So we had to take a bus. He had to take the Greyhound. Sergeant Woodard, in his entire military uniform, takes the bus home. However, this is where things get a little crazy. Back then, buses were segregated. Black passengers had to sit in the back, and they had to essentially behave themselves. The bus made a stop, and Woodard had to scream from the back, asking the bus driver, hey, can I go to the restroom? Because he's in the colored section. The bus driver ignored him, and Sergeant Woodard asked again, hey, I just fought for my country, man. I'm in uniform. Can I use the restroom? Do I have time? Bus driver's kind of an asshole about it, but he's like, whatever, you know what? Fine, right? He goes to the restroom, comes back on the bus keeps on moving, no issues, right? Wrong. This is not really a picture of Woodard, it's just an example. At the next stop, bus driver gets out of the bus, finds some police officers, tells them that Woodard is being uppity. He gets arrested, and he's sent to jail looking like this. However, when he left jail the next day, he looked like this. He left looking like this. The man was blinded. Now, it's the next day. Sergeant Shaw has to go to court. He is beaten, he is bloody, and he cannot see. The judge notices this. However, instead of commenting on that, check this out. Instead of mentioning his injuries, the judge said, hey, you were raising sand on the bus last night. You were stubborn. I fine you $50 or 30 days in jail. That's the judge, who was also the mayor of that town. Sergeant Woodard, still in uniform, did not have the $50. He only had $44, so he goes back to jail. And then eventually somebody put some stuff into his eyes, realized, hey, you know what? This guy's really hurt. He needs to go to the hospital. He goes to the VA hospital in Columbia, and the doctor is like, dude, your eyes are done. Like, you're blind forever. You'll never be able to see again. Now, the chief of police, who was responsible for all of this, was named Linward Shaw. He was charged, and he was taken to court for what he did to Sergeant Woodard. However, after 30 minutes of deliberation, he was acquitted. Absolutely no consequences. Mind you, Sergeant Woodard spent the rest of his life struggling to make money. The military did not compensate him for this because this injury happened after he was discharged. So he would get by renting out rooms and doing what he could to make money, but he really did suffer because of this throughout his life. Now, the NAACP was able to step in and ensure that Sergeant Woodard's story was shared with the nation, and it was. However, he never recovered. He financially struggled until he died in the year 1992. And this drunk and disorderly conviction remained on his record until he died. It wasn't taken off his record until 2018, and he'd been dead and gone by then. And that's the story of Sergeant Woodard.
Disturbing new details are emerging about the elderly man accused of shooting a black teenager who rang his doorbell by mistake. Andrew Lester's ex-wife says he was prone to fits of rage, smashing objects in their home when he was angry. Mary Clayton was married to Lester for 14 years and had 3 children with him. She says he had a history of violent behavior. And when she called the police, they told her he could do what he liked in his own house. She now lives in California and hasn't spoken to the retired airline mechanic for decades. I was always scared of him. It doesn't surprise me what happened. And Lester's grandson, Clint Ludwig, is adding to the chilling profile. He told CNN's Don Lemon today that the 84-year-old expressed racist views and became obsessed with far-right conspiracy theories, including QAnon.
I would push back on some of this stuff, and he couldn't handle being pushed back on. And at a certain point, we kind of lost touch.
Lester kept an arsenal of weapons and fitted his home with surveillance cameras, despite living in a low-crime neighborhood of Kansas City.
The guns were all over. He had them stashed in some spots and had a big locker full of them. But yeah, he was ready to defend his home, as he would say.
The accused shooter's grandson spoke directly to Ralph Yarl, who is recovering from his head wounds.
Proud of you, Ralph. I'm so sorry this happened to you. I understand you're an amazing kid, and I think you're going to grow up to be an amazing man, and my family stands with you.
Lester has pled not guilty and is free on $200,000 bail.
Do you believe your grandfather is racist?
I believe he holds racist tendencies. I feel like a lot of people of that generation are caught up in this 24-hour news cycle of fear and paranoia perpetuated by some other news stations. And he was fully into that, sit and watch Fox News all day, every day, blaring. That stuff really kind of reinforces this negative view of minority groups and leads people to be doesn't necessarily lead people to be racist, but it reinforces and galvanizes racist people.
Did your grandfather have a gun or more weapons in the house?
The guns were all over. He had them stashed in some spots and had a big locker full of them. But yeah, he was ready to defend his home, as he would say.
Like I was saying, you wouldn't blame them. They have to cover their traces. And a lot of these keep happening by day, even up until today. The maltreatment, the whatever injustice and the rest of them. We always give our all open-heartedly to them. Even we do it more than we even do it to ourselves. But at the end of the day, how is the payment? How are we treated for all the good that we do? because it pains me to the heart to see one of us always under their feet, screaming and begging for mercy, when they did nothing wrong, just because of this pure hatred. And then, I don't get, most of us that feel it's nothing. This is how the life is. Come on. Oh, that is how things are. You just, come on. You don't look at it as anything anymore, because it's like we're used to it. And this keeps happening by day. And that is why they got to a point where they don't even feel anything when they hurt us. To them is the norm. To them is the right thing to do. To them we do not deserve it. Now, when are we going to drop aside this segregation amongst ourselves as the melanated people? When are we going to drop out this segregation? Oh, I'm from here. Oh, I'm from Al-Kabulan. I'm not connected to you. Oh, I'm from the divided state. You know, right? Oh, I'm not connected to you. Oh, we are wherever to this nation. We're a nation that is falling. You tying yourself so hard to it. It's our birthright. We have to struggle with them to get something. When the whole world is your birthright, the whole earth is your birthright, you tie yourself to one part that is of no good, and you say it's my birthright. When you are kings, you are queens, you feel no, it's okay to be slaves. And then you come out to complain, oh, what they're doing to us is so bad. But you are in their midst. I don't think this is going to end soon, because even our own people are okay with it. Because I feel that's somebody. But it's when it comes to your doorstep that you feel the pain more. You think it's far away somewhere. When it happens to you, you understand what other people go through. And maybe by then, I just hope it's not too late. And thank you so much. Love yourself. Love others. Stay safe. Stay positive. Bye for now.